Hey guys, it's Jen over at jenscrappypages.blogspot.com, and this is our project for today. A couple days later than I had planned on making this, and I was actually kind of happy that it turned out that way because when I went to go recreate this card so it was actually usable, because the other one I ended up with ink splotches all over it and it was kind of a hot mess. Well, I thought I had lost the original stamp that I had done this with, so I thought, well, I'll just use a different stamp, and I actually ended up liking the way this one turned out from my other one. So this is what we're doing. This is from the Eastern Palace Suite that I showed you the unveiling of the other day. And remember this piece of paper? When I first unveiled my papers, and yeah, I wasn't so sure about it, but I knew that using it in, kind of smaller portions, it would end up being a really beautiful paper. So, so this is it. So let's get started with all of the supplies, and we'll get to making the card. So for this card, I broke out my buttons, and these are done up. These are in the very vanilla buttons. There's different sizes in there. They're just really pretty, kind of elegant buttons, and I thought it went well with this pack. And then the very vanilla, oh, I know it's very vanilla. What is it? Satin ribbon, and it's 1/4 of an inch. This is in the Occasions catalog. Just a really pretty ribbon, and I just use it as an accent. No bow, no knot, no anything. And this is the Dapper Denim enamel shapes in the 2016-2018 enamel shape pack. The Eastern Medallion Thin Lids dies, and we use quite a few of them, and I'll show you how they all go together. Oh my goodness. I sat and played with this actually that afternoon and the next morning, and there are so many different possibilities with all of these dies. I mean, I can't even count how many different ones there are. This is such a cool die set. I'm in love. And then the Eastern Beauty stamp set. And the same thing goes with this one. There's all these different shapes, and alone you think, I mean, it's an okay stamp set. But when you start pairing these up, even together or separately with the dies themselves, again, so many countless combinations. So I'm really thrilled, and I can't wait to play more with this set because, oh, there's just so many possibilities with it. Okay, I'll stop talking. And of course, my layering circles framelits dies, and I'll show you why I ended up throwing this in here for this particular card. Then you're going to need the Tranquil Tide and Dapper Denim stamp pads. This is really beautiful and quickly becoming my favorite. I just love these two colors together. And then I did add a little bit of a wink of Stella to it, but this card certainly could be used without it. I think either way it would be just beautiful. It just gives a little hint of shimmer. I'm not sure if you can see that on there or not, but it's just kind of a really nice hint of it. Doesn't scream out at you. So I guess maybe that's why you could probably go without it, to be honest with you. Okay, so for cardstock, let's get going on this. The very vanilla cardstock is 4 1/4 by 11, a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and a 2 by 3 1/4. And then I used Dapper Denim, 2 1/2 by 3 3/4, and a 1 by 4 1/4. The Tranquil Tide is a 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 and a 1 by 4 1/4. And then the Eastern Palace Designers Series paper, the DSP, is a 2 by 4 1/4. So I think what we should probably do is we should get all of our cutting out of the way, because after that the card is really super simple to put together. So let's get out our, oh, you know what, before we do that, I lied. So let's stamp this quick, and I'm just going to stamp it in the same color as the cardstock. So I'm just going to use my Tranquil Tide, because then we'll stamp this and then we're going to cut it out. And that's just going to go here in the center of here. All right, that's all we need for that. And it's a lot easier to stamp ahead of time and then cut the die out than doing vice versa. So that's why I did that. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way, move these over here. Let's get out our die cutting machine, our handy dandy big shot. So we're going to throw this on here, and this is actually going to be cut. We're going to use this die for it, and that's just going to go right on that outline of your die, and it lines up really pretty easy on there. And then we're going to take this piece here that looks like a little flower, and we're going to stick that basically inside these little petals. So there's that. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just cut this one out first, and then we'll line up our other one and cut that out. Okay, so now we're going to get this larger, very vanilla, your 3.5 by 3.5, and this is where the fun comes in. Not that that other one wasn't fun to cut. Actually, I think I'm going to flip this because I have a little bit of ink on it. So this is where your circle is going to come from the layering circles, and it is, I believe, the largest one. And then you're just going to line this one up very carefully, because you kind of want those edges to be, well, you don't kind of, you do. You want those edges to be even all the way around. So hopefully that's even there. And then you're going to take this one and you're going to do the same. Just line it up so all of your edges are even in there. And then this one as well. Being careful not to really move everything around. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking. I think that should be about right. Oh, I probably should leave well enough alone, huh? I just want to make sure that this is a good, even edge all the way around. Okay. So stop touching it, and we'll roll it through. And this one, I think you should roll it through, you know, just a couple of times, maybe 2-3 times, just to make sure that you get all of those intricate cuts in there. So this is what it looks like after you remove everything. And I'm not going to take the time right now to remove all of those little extra pieces, because I already have one made up. And so it's kind of like that mirror effect. I'm not sure which way to go. This is what you're going to end up with. But I wanted to show you what it looks like if you don't use that outer circle. So you'll end up with this really beautiful medallion, and you could certainly make a square out of this and place it on your card. You can place this just as is on your card front, or, you know, whatever paper. But if you don't use that extra circle, you know, it's not going to cut it completely out. So I just think that's absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to go ahead and do quick now too is I'm just going to brush on the Wink of Stella over half of this, because only half of this medallion shows. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly brush over here, and I'll fast forward this as it goes, because I did not have one pre-made with the shimmer on it. All right, so that should be done. You see the shimmer on there. That's super pretty. So I'm going to set that aside, and we're just going to let that dry. And then let's go ahead. I'm going to pull our card back out here into the picture so you see what we're doing. And then I'm going to, I got some of that shimmer on here, so now it's going to be everywhere. So then you're just going to take your card and you're going to fold it in half at the 5.5. So you'll have that 4 1/4 by 5.5 card base. And this is pretty much, you know, just simple layering at this point. So we're just going to start at the bottom and go up with our layering, making sure a little I still think this kind of looks like peacock feathers. And maybe even just, you know, the colors too kind of give it that look. So that's just going to go here. And then we're going to take our Dapper Denim and put that directly on top of that. And then our, oh, it just escaped me, Tranquil Tide. It's going to go here. I had to look at the ink pad to see what color that was. And then this is going to get popped up because I like the dimension that that gives. And that's the only thing that we're going to be popping up today. And then I'm going to put one in the center. And then I'm going to set this aside for a second. And on this card, I did wrap around my ribbon, but I think it looks okay wrapped around like that on the back. But what I did was I put, because this is going to be covered over, so I'm just going to put a line of adhesive there, and then I'm going to take one end of my ribbon and I'm going to just line this up so it's kind of centered on that seam right there, and then wrap it around. Let's see, we'll put maybe here, and then that's just going to come and meet up with that other side, and I think I'll just cut off the excess bulk there. So that's all we're doing for the ribbon. It's just kind of a nice little accent piece in there. And then what I'm going to do is that we're going to take our medallion, and I used the fine tip glue pen, my new best friend, and finding where, I guess it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and you know, just kind of put it down here. You probably could cut this medallion in half so then you could use it on another card. But I just chose to go ahead and stick the whole entire thing behind there. And you don't need a ton of this. It'll go on. So, and then you're going to find the side that you shimmered if that's what you chose to do. And that's just going to go about halfway, you know, between the top here and here. So I kind of lined up this little point here, and that's going to go about, I don't know, a little over 1/4 of an inch from the side. So about like that. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our Dapper Denim, and we're going to put that one, it's still going to go about the same distance from this side as it does, as the medallion does on that side, and just kind of centered on here. So about, I might move that up just a little bit. So probably about right here. And then let's take out our Very Vanilla, and we're going to stamp our sentiment, let's be friends forever. I'm sure you guys have friends in your life that you feel that way about. I know I do. I just love the sentiment. And make sure I'm in the screen here. And that's just going to come down a little bit. I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch or less from the top. Isn't that so pretty? I just love, 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 love that color. And then the medallion that we cut out earlier, that's going to come down here, and I'm not going to do anything right now to pop up those little petals, but I am going to go ahead and put just a little bit of adhesive here in the center, and then I'm going to line up this little corner here with the corner of my paper, so it's kind of equal on all sides. And you just want that corner down here to be hidden. So just like that. And then we're going to take this little guy in our Dapper Denim, and he's going to go just in this little corner area, and I'm going to get, so I'm not marking on my, just grab some kind of something here, because it's going to go off the edge a little bit. So, and that's going to come down here about as close as you can get. So just like that. And then again here. And then again here. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead while the button is not on there yet, and I'm just going to bring up my petals. Oh, isn't that pretty? It's like magic. The way that comes up, isn't that pretty? Okay. And then I'm going to grab out a button. And I used this medium one here. And that's just going to get a little glue dot on it if I can find my glue dots. Okay, hopefully my head didn't go in. I had to leave just for a quick second. And that's just going to go right here in the center. And our little shapes, I used just one of these smaller ones because it fit perfectly in the center. That way I didn't have to, oh no I didn't. I used the bigger one, I lied. So that's just going to go right here. And it'll cover up your little buttonholes too. If I can get this to go in right. It went in perfectly fine the last time I did it. Okay. And then I took these little hearts and just lined them up with that little dot and that stamp. The other one that I did, I was kind of glad, you know, like those happy accidents, and I was devastated at first that I couldn't find the stamp. Well, I ended up finding it this morning when I was cleaning up my workspace, so yay, it's not gone forever. But I was glad that I lost it because I really, it wouldn't have looked anything like this. This is so much prettier. And then I just went ahead and put a little heart up here too. And then we're going to get our adhesive out, hopefully. Did it run out on me? Nope, I still have some left. Just kind of hoping it wouldn't. And that is going to go, let me bring this card back in here. I end up shoving everything out of my way when I'm working, and then the card gets off the screen, and so then that's just going to go here. Just like that, and we're done. I mean, that's all there is to this card. So it's a, you know, it's a pretty simple card, and I know there's so many different possibilities with this